G'day, I'm Alex, and I'm sort of working on two Holdens at the moment, a HK BROUGHAM and a HT Kingswood. Now the BROUGHAM I've had for about 8 years, and I don't know, I never really had a good workspace to really hook into it and do it. It came with it came with the original motor, but it was just a block and a few pistons basically in the boot. It was missing the power glide and diff center and wiring harness and just a few bits and pieces. Just the engine, I had to buy a complete engine for it and then track down air cleaner, and just a nightmare. The other one, the HT Kingswood, I got it, I think it was this year, less than a year ago, and I bought it kind of locally off a guy who, he scouts farms and whatnot for all the old girls, and I bought it off him, and I was originally going to use it for parts because I've got a collection of HT utes down the back. One's going to be for me and the other's going to be for my wife. But then when I got the HT here, and I was a bit bored, so I'll see if I can put some photos up of what it looked like when I got it. But there was surface rust everywhere, dents, big dents, panels indoors and whatnot sort of kicked in. So I popped out as many dents as I could and just started rubbing it back with some wet and dry, and surprisingly the paint started coming up okay, and I'm like, oh well, this might be a keeper. So it came with a 253 and a Trimatic, but drum brake front end. But I've got some bits and pieces there. I've got disc brake front end and a couple of different dips and whatever. So I've also I've done myself a mischief somehow, and I've got 5 bulge discs and 2 impinged nerves down in the lower back. So I've had easy 6 weeks off work now, which hasn't been great. Pretty much using long service leave now, but I'm the type of person that just can't sit down for days on end. I've got to, every now and again, I'll have a movie day or something like that, but it's rare. Plus it hurts for me to sit down, really. I mean, if I sit down for more than, I don't know, half an hour, I'm back to square one. I've got to straighten myself out again. So I found it was much better for me just to sort of poke around the shed and do what I can, do a couple of hours each day. Also for my mental health as well, just to get out of the house, come and do a little bit down in the shed, see some progress, and get some satisfaction out of it. I started off, when I got CROOK with my back and I potted on down to the shed, I started on the HK, and the first thing to do on that basically was the roof. It had dents in it, the paint was cracked, and there was some pitting. There was actually a lot of pitting on that roof, and I didn't want to take the headlining out of the car because it's original. I'll give you a tour of the BROUGHAM shortly, but so I bought a whole heap of paintless dent removal gear, and the original paint, when I tried to pull some dents out, it just pulled the original paint off it. So I'm like, bugger it, I'll strip it back to bare metal, then I'll use the glue pulling stuff, and that worked alright. A couple of different techniques, but I got most of the dents out of the roof with just when I say minimal, there was a decent skim of bog over a large area. And then once I was happy, I'm going acrylic, the original acrylic, and its colour is ermine white. Could be ermine white, I don't know. Ermine, don't know. So the roof of the BROUGHAM has been sandblasted, and then filler work done, then etch primed, then primer filler, then colour. Two heavy coats. I plan to do that with the whole car, just sort of do it section by section, because I don't know, I mean, I could have surgery next week, waiting to hear from the specialist. So I'll just do it section by section. That was the plan anyway. I started working on the bonnet, I got it, also sandblasted. Did my filler work and then went to the fine filler stage. And the fine filler, where is it? Oh. It's a U-Pol product. Now I swear, it says here 2% hardener. When I squeezed the hardener out, I swear it could have been even a little bit more than 2%. But anyway, the point of the story is it just hasn't gone off. It's still, I can drag my fingernail across it and just gouge it. Yeah. So I got the shits with the BROUGHAM after that, because there was a lot of hours in the bonnet and I was keen to get it in colour. I said, bugger it, I've had enough of the BROUGHAM. I'll just rip into something that, you know, I don't care if I muck it up. I don't I don't have to keep it original or source, you know, period correct parts or anything. So that's where the old HT comes in. And it was, look, it was in okay nick, but still a lot of work on it. I mean, there's no interior. The driver's side door and the front guard, at some point, I don't know if the door was open and they backed into something, but big creases, big dents. So I started mucking around with that, putting bloody footballs and basketballs and stuff inside the door to sort of pump out the dents, pop them out. That was a trick I saw on YouTube. People sort of pumping up the balls inside the doors and then going around, and then tapping around the crease lines and stuff. I think I'm waffling on a little bit now, but basically the HT is something I can rip into. It's a budget build. I'll tell you that right now. It's budget. I'll still buy new things where I need to buy new things, like rubbers, paint. I've got 4 litres of the original paint. It's Faro Gold with white roof. So yeah, I got some second-hand door cards, some Premier door cards in antique gold, which was the original interior colour. I'm not a huge fan of the antique gold. I think it might be the armrests. The colour of the armrests, I think, just don't match the rest of the antique gold sort of colours. But anyway, I'm going to get some colour match armrests for it, so it doesn't look like that real faded baby shit brown. The 253 that's in it, I don't know if it goes. It's a Q, I think it's a QR prefix block, so I don't know, I think that's, yeah, like a HQ, HZ something or other. So I don't know if it runs. It turns over. I'll wire it up at some point and see if it runs. So yeah, that's the introduction. It's probably a bit longer than what I thought it was going to be, but I'll give you a little bit of a tour. And if you see me hobbling around or making grunts and groans, it's because of the back. So here's the BROUGHAM, and the first thing I kind of did in my previous address, I was fortunate enough to live in a shed with my wife. It was a shed that I built with a nice big space downstairs where the BROUGHAM lived, and I was able to have the space and tools to pull the front end off, and I got it sandblasted. Excuse me, I just ate a sandwich and I've got a bit of bread stuck in my throat. Pulled the front end off it, I had it sandblasted, did some repairs to it, mainly down in the box section here. You can probably see my weld, so from there down. The other side was worse. The other side I used a Dino's product. Can't speak highly enough of Dino's products. Really friendly guy, never met him in person, but just in correspondence. Yeah, great guy. There was a few other things to fix up, and then I resprayed it in 2-pack Warrigal Black, which is basically just black tinter. Oh yeah, there was a strip along the firewall here that was replaced with Dino's product as well. Bolted it back on with new rubbers. The steering, I haven't fully checked it out yet. Don't know. It's not a power steering car. It didn't come from factory with power steering, but it did get electric windows and factory fitted aircon. So I was happy with that. That's pretty cool. I'll show you inside it. I've got one door card off, the driver's side back door. So there's a door card in there and a few other bits and pieces, but cobwebs, some mouse crap, but the seats look, I don't know, in this light they look dirty, but I cleaned them and there's bugger all wrong with them. They're still sprung really good. The stitching is coming apart, and I'm hoping once it's on the road, I'm not going to get bogged down too much about that, but once it's on the road I'll take it to a trimmer and see if he's able to re-stitch it. Yeah, so hood lining not bad. Original parcel shelf, I don't think that's the original speaker. That doesn't look like an original speaker in the parcel shelf, but don't know. But still, she's got the original radio, and yeah, she's reasonably complete, but all the bits that were missing were the real hard to get bits. And if you do come across certain things these days, like 307 Chev alternator brackets or air cleaners, people want $5 squillion for them. So I was lucky enough, here it is over here. Hang on, I'll get me lighter. Here it is over here. Now, supposedly this was out of a HK Monaro. I don't know. I haven't really chased it up. But it was a period correct engine, reasonably complete, but in sad nick. I was told it was a runner. When I went to fire it up, it spat oil out of the where the oil filter screws up onto the block, and there was no oil getting up top, so I sort of shelved it, put it on the back burner until I sort of had the money and time to rebuild it. And that took a few years to do, basically from the time it squirted oil out and I found out there was nothing getting up top to, you know, now. That was a few years ago, but it's been rebuilt with a standard grind cam, new lifters. The crank was alright in it. It needed a linish but was still within spec. I had the heads just a quick once over at the local machine shop. He sort of put some guides in it and gave it a cut, got the valves to seat nicely again. The carby for this, it was a bit of a nightmare, because evidently the factory fitted aircon models had a different carburetor to it. So this one came from the United States of America, and it's a Corvette unit off a 307 Powerglide Corvette factory aircon. I won't tell you how much it cost. This is a rebuilt unit. There is a chance my wife may watch these videos, so yes, I'll keep that one a secret. But it's not like I'm drawing out of the pension fund to do these things. Of, you know, this is sort of saving and sort of cashing in cans and, yeah, doing whatever. This is the bonnet for the BROUGHAM with the filler on it, and it's done that. Probably my fault. I'm sure U-Pole, I mean, I've used the other U-Pole products, the weld-through primers and stuff, and I can't fault them, but yeah, once this happened, I've used it as a table, basically, until I can get back to it, which I need to do very soon, because, you know, it's bare metal, it's cold, it's winter, I don't want it to rust again. So if I can scrape all this goo off back to my sort of first layer of filler, just a normal body filler, yeah, I might give it another go with some more hardener and see how we go. But yes, at the moment it's a table. Put that there. I had it made around for drinks the other night, as you can see. But yeah, the BROUGHAM roof. I gave it just a quick sort of wet sand after I let it sit for a few days, and then just to sort of see, I don't know, a bit of what the difference in colour is from the original stuff to the freshly mixed kind of stuff. But yeah, once it's all rubbed back, and I plan to give everything 2 good coats, and then at the end, you know, I'll give the whole lot its 3rd coat. At that stage, I'll pop these windows out and fix whatever rust I may find under there, but I don't think there'll be too much, hopefully. Yeah, so it's not too bad. It was sort of touched up with a rattle can here and there, but overall it's pretty solid. Yeah, so I guess we'll wander over to the Kingswood now. And look, I got crap everywhere. That's a 253. That's a H prefix block. So like it's a HG sort of block, but that's sort of earmarked for one of the utes. And that's a 186 that came with one of the utes in the tray, or what was left of the tray. But yeah, now we got this old girl, and she's needing a bit of work, but I mean the level, the finished article is by no means going to be a show car or a period correct, you know, showpiece. This is going to be like daily driver spec. I'll get it as good as I can with what I got. We'll go from there. Now this guard was in easy 10mm around here, just sort of all folded in. That's obviously not the original door with it. That's the original door. It had been folded back at some point, and it had been, I don't know, somebody kicked the bejesus out of the middle of it, and I sort of, my original intention basically was to just rub it back, put the thing on the road just with whatever, and drive it. But I don't know, this thing here and this thing here, I don't know, for a rat rod style look, I guess, or survival look, I just think with the amount of new paint that's going to go on it, it's not going to look right. It's just going to look weird. So I think everything's just going to get a scuff. I've deleted the chrome trim along the sill panel, the stainless trim. This poor old guard, she copped I put a patch in there, and I got it too hot, and she's a bit of warpage to sort out there. I should have used a 0.7 wire, but I used 0.9 wire and just was impatient. And, yeah, mucking around with door gaps. These bloody door hinges. Don't get me started on the door hinges. But anyway, this is as good a gap as I can sort of get. I had to add a bit of material along here, just to try and get the thing within sort of cooee of not standing out like dog's balls. Now this door I got from a swap meet a couple of years ago. Swap meets these days, you've got to turn up as soon as the gates open, race around with your fistful of cash, and as soon as you see something that you want, you sort of got to jump on it, because yeah, this sort of stuff's getting harder and harder to find these days. I think I paid $50 a door a couple of years ago. There's the other one. You know, first glance they looked pretty straight, fairly cancer free, so I grabbed them, and they've proven to be fairly straight and fairly cancer free. Bit of a patch down here. Oh, just in there. Now I'll be honest, I'm probably just going to treat it and bog it. I don't want to, but if I get bogged down in every single detail, it's probably defeats the purpose of this car. This is a, yeah, get it on the road, go cruising, just enjoy driving. Whereas this one, the amount of money I've sort of put into it so far, and it still looks like something that you've only just dragged out of a shed. This will probably only come out on really nice, dry, sunny days, and then to the occasional sort of cruise, meet up, but yeah, I don't think it'll see too many Ks. So yeah, the worst part I think about this car, I've had a go at straightening it out with this rear quarter and the beaver panel. Now all along, see if I can bend over enough, all along here was all bashed in, creased in. I've had a go with welding tabs on it, using a slide hammer to pull it out. It's just, I don't know, the metal's just too thin to sort of work with properly. It really needs to be replaced. I don't really want to go to the expense of, you know, like $500 for a new rare spares one that sort of comes all the way up to the boot lid. I don't need that much, I just need the bottom of it. So hopefully I'll find another Kingswood locally somewhere, and whoever owns it might be kind enough to let me take some templates, and I'll have a crack myself at making a new beaver panel from the number plate down, or the bumper line down. Yeah, this side isn't too bad except for the front guard. They've rolled the lip and it's just rusted all the way out. Plus it's copped a hit in the front. I'm not going to use it. This is the candidate that I'm sort of looking at to replace that guard. Yeah, it still needs work, but overall I think it's a better starting point than that. At least the wheel arch is reasonably good, and yeah, that rust can be I don't know, reasonably done. Might save up for a proper patch panel from Rares or something, and yeah, but that's pretty much the introduction. Pretty long introduction. There's the 253 in there. It's a double row. It's got double row pulleys, so I might put some air conditioning in it, so it's easy to nice to cruise in the summertime. But yeah. What I'm going to do now, people have told me that when you're going to do your blocking, so you'll put your filler on and you'll do your blocking, you need to have your rubbers, door rubbers in place to do it. The old ones had it, so really I need to prep this for paint, and it won't be prepped to the nth degree. It'll be good enough to accept a coat of colour and stay there for a while, but I'm not going to get too carried away with it. I do have new door rubbers, one for the driver's side, one for the passenger, the rear door, sorry. So yeah, I'll take this door off. I'm going to take it off from these hinges, leave the hinges bolted to the A pillar here, because I know that they're right as far as my door gaps go, and yeah, that'll just leave me with this adjustment to muck around with. So yeah, That's the plan. Let's get stuck into it. Some tunes happening. Alright. We're going to need 1/2 inch. Need to get some stuff out of the way. I was originally using this to, yeah, like getting things sort of straight. And towards the end of the day, I was using it to get myself up off the ground like a walking stick. But yeah, clear some of this stuff away and get this door off and start stripping it back for some paint. Now the door's pretty light, it's got no glass in it except for the quarter window, but that's alright. I'll hitch my belt up and we'll get into it. Half, very good. Now I wonder if it's going to be easier. Might be easier to get this quarter vent assembly out while it's up here at nice working level. There's a couple of screws. I think there's one hidden one somewhere too. Can't remember. Anyway, we'll get them out. One of them. But in some respects I'm more excited about getting this on the road as opposed to the BROUGHAM there. I don't know why. I think it's got something to do with the fact that I'm going to most likely treat that thing with a lot more caution when driving it, because I've had, you know, the engine's been rebuilt. It was a 60 thou over. It was bloody 50 thou, I think it was. Something weird. It wasn't 20, 40 or 60, it was 50. Anyway, yeah, it's ready to sort of wire up and fire up and run the cam in. Where is it? But yeah, I mean the drive line in this thing, it took me years to basically track down the there's the power glide for it. It's been rebuilt, and oh, the diff was the 278 center in it, limited slip, and get that. I'll get this out of the way. Yeah, so the diff was built out of about 3 different diffs. So it's, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge amount of money when you're, you know, talking about restoring cars. It's probably just pocket change, but yeah, every dollar sort of counts these days, and yeah, you know, some of the builds that you see online and on Facebook, like, there's just insane amounts of bloody dollars spent on them, and I just don't have that kind of cash. It's not, yeah, this is a backyard operation. We got a kid now. We got how old would Logan be? Logan would be about 15 or 16 months now. He's an IVF baby, so that in itself, he's worth a pretty penny, but he's awesome. We were lucky enough, first try of IVF. He yeah, we're very happy to have him, and he's a little unit. So I don't know, at some point he may turn up in these videos, because his mum works. She's gone back to work now, so Logan's in daycare 4 days a week, and my wife's at work 4 days a week, which leaves me with 4 days a week basically to come and play around in the shed. And yeah, I've got to be really careful about how much I sort of bite off too. Like I need to get back to work, and I don't want to do anything that's going to upset the back to the point where it'll be a setback. But yeah, at the same time, I can't sit still. It's gonna prolong my recovery if I just sit still. So yeah, let's open. Oh shit! I'll open it up and see what we got in. Is there something in here? I don't know. Why? I used to take these apart all the time as a kid. Bloody, you'd find them at the tip and you drag them home with the old man's International tractor. You know, bloody, the amount of HKs, HTs and HGs that were just in paddocks and people's bloody yards, sitting under trees. And yeah, like I said, at the tip. I don't know if that's alright to reuse. I don't know. I'll sit that in there. Yeah, I remember dragging them home from the tip and bloody, you know, good. These sorts of things that came from the tip back then would sell on Facebook now for bloody $5,000, $6,000. I think there's something in there. So, yeah, gone are those days, unfortunately. Plus, we've had good old Corona and the subsequent tax that just goes on bloody anything fun related instantly attracts COVID tax. There we go, what have we got? A success. So yeah, don't know what the point of that story was, but how are we getting out of here? Spin that around. Will it come out this way? It's gotta. What's going on? Back in there. I'll turn this bloody. I'll put that over there. Right. No. What's down in there? It's this thing. This bit of bloody thread on the end of the doodad. What do I need? A little flat blade. Has it got a slot in it? It does. Alright. Is it just spreading it or what? Yes, it's just spreading it. Alright. Alright then. What's our other option here? I can probably force it out, but I don't really want to. What size? Is there a nut on the other side? Some of you HK, HT, HG veterans might be looking at this in frustration going, for Christ's sake, just undo the bolt, undo the nut. What size is that? 3/8? Let's have a look. We'll go for a wander back over. Oh, here's a 3/8 spanner before I go walking too far. Tough. Oh, 7/16, alright. Off to the toolbox. Imperial spanner 7/16. So used to metric stuff these days. It's been, as I said, as a kid, you know, you could bloody pull one of these apart in bloody half a day. But a lot of stuff's happened since I was a kid, and that kind of critical information's been purged from the hard drive to make room for standard operating procedures and shopping lists and all that sort of stuff. Right, so it's loose. I'll stick that in the back pocket. It's loose. It's loose. Oh, this is just going to be. It's going to be frustrating. Is it coming out? Yep, there we go. Righto. You probably can't see I've got a tendency to look at the ceiling when I'm bloody undoing nuts that I can't see. Alright, there we go. Quarter vent window out. I'll have to go back through the footage and actually see what's getting captured and what isn't, because as I said before, this is my first time using, that's actually not a bad rubber. I might be able to resurrect that with some, I don't know. I'll put it aside, make a decision later. Yeah, first time using a GoPro, and it's strapped to my head with an official GoPro strap and holder. So I'm hoping that you're sort of seeing what I'm sort of seeing. Righto. I'll scrape all that shit off here because it's easy to get at. And oh look, do I just tape this up or do I? Oh, it's only 3 screws. I'll take them out and pop them through. Alright, scraper. I don't have the latest bloody iPhone, so it wouldn't work. Started cursing GoPro, wondering, you know, if it was all worth it. And took it up to the house and had a look on the laptop, see maybe the laptop would bloody control it. Anyway, found out the tablet that we've got, the Samsung tablet, it was a candidate. So yeah, it looks like I'll be doing the editing and the stuff like that on the tablet. So I'm not too sure what the wife's going to make of that, of me bringing the tablet down into the shed, but anyway, easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. There we go. But she's been very supportive throughout this whole period of unemployment. Oh, I say unemployment, I'm still employed, I'm just on bloody leave. And yeah, she drove me to Newcastle to see a specialist the other week. That was only last week. But yeah, also like to make an honourable mention to the in-laws for their help looking after Logan. My parents are in their late 70s, and you know, you can't in good conscience ask your nearly 80-year-old parents to look after a 1.5-year-old tornado. So yeah, we take him out to visit wherever we can. So usually we've got to wait for the planets to line up because they're usually involved with something with the RSL or cattle work. They still run cattle. Yeah, not too many, just enough to keep them occupied and keep the car registered. So yeah, what have we got? Got anything else there to scrape off? I don't think so. I wonder if are these supposed to have little plastic clips in them or what? Let's have a look on the back. No, just a hole. Alright, well, we'll run with that. Yes, this window, I tried to roll it down and it pulled itself out of the regulator, so I'll be careful. Righto, where am I up to? Oh, we've got to do that one. This is the other thing too, like, now that I've got a camera strapped to my head, I'm fully conscious of the fact that I've got an audience. And every single thing I do will probably be scrutinised and judged, because that's just the society we live in these days. We can't really voice our deepest, darkest opinions, and we can't sway from what is the you know, the standard practice of doing things. And oh, you should have used a bloody socket on that, or use an impact driver, or what, you know. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of criticism, but I don't really care. Stopped caring about what people think of me a long while ago. So now it's all about having a bit of fun down in the shed. And yeah, popular opinion can go to buggery, so to speak. What's that? Oh, that's for the window run of these two. So, oh, should I duck up to the house and get a Ziploc bag? I thought I had Ziploc bags here before from when I pulled the engine down. Oh, righto. And I will say, yep, bag and tag your stuff, because I've learnt from experience, shit goes missing, and it will go missing in the space of 5 minutes unless you tag it and bag it. I'm looking for a bloody permanent marker. And I had one for some reason the other night. I can't remember what for. And yeah.